Grab your cocktail and get ready for this episode of the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast. Welcome to the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian, and we have been getting a lot of emails regarding how it is my organization recognized, not recognized, all of that. We put plenty of links out there to the philaxis.org. Push that to the side. My deal's always about the money, right? It's you guys doing the right thing, pay my taxes, do it the right way. So the question that's come up a lot is, how can I find out if my charitable organization, don't get focused on, Masonic, irregular, bogus, just any organization. How do I do it? Pretty simple. So I'm going to walk you through a few things, show you how easy it is, and maybe enlighten you on some other things. So give me just a second here, and we'll do a screen share. All right, so let's jump right in here and do just a bit of a screen share. So what you're seeing on the screen here is pretty simple, irs.gov. When you go on the irs.gov, you'll see everything sitting here on the screen, but let me move my mug. Right here, my friends, right here, you see charities and nonprofits. Click the button. Pretty simple, right? From there, I'm going to save you some searching. You're going to go right here to the tax-exempt organization search, TEOS. You're going to click there. Boom. Voila. Let it come up. Do what you do. Click it again, search for the organizations, and now it's going to pop up, right? So you've got this pretty little screen here. So it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know the tax number. I don't know the EIN. You don't have to do all that. You go right here to this middle screen. Type in your organization name. So I'll just do this. I'll type in Worshipful, and I'll do KS. We'll just do that. I don't know if that'll work. If not, we'll just go worshipful, and then I'll just go here to the state. We'll save you guys a lot of boredom. Listen to my stale old voice. So worshipful, boom! Oh my gosh, I can't believe the most worshipful Grand Lodge of AF and AM of Kansas popped up. So here, this is all public information, folks. So a lot of things you can see here. First thing I want you to notice here, you don't see any flags over here, any inactive, whatever. So that's pretty public, right? So if you get there, you just click on that blue hot link, and it'll take you to the form. So it shows a lot of different things here. That's postcards. I'm not a tax guy. I know the difference, but somebody's going to say, oh, Bird, you used one word wrong. So sometimes there's a reason you can do the postcards. Sometimes there's a reason you can do the copies of the returns, right? But you can go right in, click. It's public information. If you're in a nonprofit or an organization for profit and you're a member and they're not sharing the books, that should scare the crap out of you. So look here, it gives all sorts of things, legal entities, but you can go click on the old hot link over here, and oh my goodness, it gives you the damn detailed form, right? And you can just scroll on through and see anything in the world that you want. Okay? Boring, maybe to some, but it's a kind of an interesting thing to do. So let's say I wanted to stay right over here, and I just wanted to kind of do my same search, right? And I just do Grand Lodge. And again, I did worshipful on this one, but, kind of look at the different things. I know how the entities are. But don't think just because you do Grand Lodge, Kansas, and it doesn't come up, oh my God, you might have to dig a little bit, right? But if if your organization says, I'm the, uh, you know, dog loving organization of blah, blah, blah. And that's the legal name. Go in here in the search term, be a little generic, and especially if you know where they're registered, or like if you had a person come on your podcast and say, this is my Grand Lodge, da 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 da, and this is the city and state I'm in. Well, go look it up. You'll find out if they're not so honest. So just kind of Grand Lodge text. You can kind of scroll down and look at, you can look at different things, right? Well, here's what's interesting is, so this is what I found. You remember I said there's no flags, right? So you kind of just look at this first one here. I'm not familiar with any of these things. I don't have a dog in the hunt, right? Most forceful Abraham Grand Lodge, AF&AM, your Masonic jurisdiction, Texas. Okay. So you can click on it and you see the Form 990, but you see an auto revocation list over here. So let's just click here first. Shows this, that, and the other. Okay. We don't see anything since 16. So sometimes you might see something from 21 or 22. There could be lots of reasons why, but 16, that's a kind of a long way out. But right. But what I want you to look here, I am not quite certain what this auto revocation list says, but let me just read the words, and some of them are big, so bear with me. Organizations whose federal tax exempt status was automatically revoked for not filing a 990 series return or notice for 3 consecutive years. Interesting. Important note, just because an organization appears on this list does not mean the organization is currently revoked, as they may have reinstated. If you're part of a group that said that, I'd maybe ask the question. That's just me, right? So let's kind of go over here. So we did another little thing here. A is an alphabet. It's high in the list. I just put Grand Lodge, Arizona, right? Very, very basic term, Arizona. I didn't even go Phoenix or city. But what it'll do is show you all sorts of little things here, right? All sorts of little things here. All right. So, I mean, let's say I just wanted to click right here. Most forceful Grand Lodge Free and Accepted Masons of Arizona. Not sure who the organization is. Boom. But it also, here's the other thing. It ties in any other names that they may have. Right? It's called transparency, folks. So show some postcards, show some full forms, right? But you can certainly click on there and see everything you need to see. Go on over to their 990 file. You guys can do this on your own. It's very exciting, right? Very, very, very exciting. So here's the other thing I get asked. Well, what if they say they haven't told me it's a nonprofit, or they told me it's a nonprofit and then well, now we're for profit. Okay, so you're a legal business entity. Oh yeah, legal business entity. All right. So for example, stick with Arizona. Just did a little Google search business entity Arizona. I don't know. What does that do? You click on the button right here, and what do you know? Let's say, I already looked at this earlier, shocker, right? Let's say I just wanted to do Grand Lodge, and this is just for Arizona. Each state's got something. You can go with your, I don't know, is it your attorney generals? Um, you guys will figure it out, but it's a simple Google search. But Grand Lodge, right? I'm not, less is more. Sometimes you think you want to put all that, but you just never know how wording is, right? So be a little generic and hit search. And look what it shows you. So these are in Arizona on their website. Just type the word grant, anything in Arizona that is a legal business entity in Arizona. Well, you know what, folks? There's only 8. And it'll tell you here if it's a nonprofit, if it's an LLC, if that's just a trade name, if it's a foreign nonprofit, blah, 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 blah. And you can just kind of go to different things and search and then go, what do you know? When you click on that, it'll let you know if they're active and in good standing. Okay? All sorts of stuff that you can see here. Right? And here's the other thing. You can scroll on down there, folks, and it'll show you directors. This is all public information. We're not giving anything out to anybody else, but you can find out who's who in the zoo, right? That's important, right? Knowledge is power. So how about this? What if I wanted to what if somebody asked, and we've had a lot, all right, if I know they're saying they're a nonprofit and they're not, or they're a nonprofit and they are, and I know there's a violation, what do I do? Google's your friend, right? Go to old googly goggle, how to report a nonprofit violation in Texas. It'll give you your quick AI overview. You go to the Attorney General's office, you submit your complaints, It's pretty simple. Do a little alternative reporting. You can go right to the IRS, or you can jump onto the IRS website, get some research, do a little bit of research on that in their search bar for information on how to report suspected tax fraud activity. If you have information about an individual or company who you suspect is not complying with tax law and you do not want to seek a reward, you can remain anonymous. So you can make a report anonymously. Here's what was interesting. The word caught me, and you do not want to seek an award. What's that all about? The whistleblower's office, same website, IRS. The IRS whistleblower office pays monetary awards to eligible individuals whose information is used by the IRS. The award percentage depends on several factors, but generally falls between 15 and 30% of the proceeds collected attributable to. Now, there may not be anything collected, right? Because it's total BS. So if you're going to do a wanted to report, you wanted to remain anonymous, you can do it. Unless you know it's some multi-million-dollar thing that you can prove and you want to get a cash grab. I don't know. It's not my style. But we just we've had a lot of feedback, just like, hey, and we get it for I've had questions like, what about my church? Go check it. Go to your pastor and say, hey, are we this? Yes. Are you sure? Okay. Go check it. If you're checked out, you're good. If you don't, we check 990s a lot on any donations we make. For me personally, speaking only for me, if I'm going to make a donation, I like to make sure that the maximum amount of dollars go into that organization. There's a lot of them out there. If you look, if you can really, there's some websites that'll tell you on some of these big corporations what percentage goes out. Might be interesting research. So we just want to give you tools, right? Knowledge is power, and to help you out. But this is a broad thing for charitable organizations, also for business entities. I mean, if they're not setting up under a legal business entity and whatever they say it may be, I don't know. Maybe I'd question if taxes are being paid, but there's a lot of things. And so folks out there, we've got lots of emails just about different things. Folks are scared about this, that, and the other. I wouldn't be scared if I was a member of an organization and didn't know, right? A member. Now, if I knew and stayed, I got some problems, right? Not real legal problems. I probably got some moral problems. But if I'm an officer or leader in any of these organizations, you can't complain you can't use the case you didn't know, right? And not an attorney, just kind of making a general observation. But if you're a leader of an organization, a for-profit, nonprofit, and you're doing something questionable, and these whistleblowers start coming out, it's a problem, folks. So maybe I believe that there are probably folks that didn't know or don't know, currently don't know that they're in part of something, right? If you're going to take a leadership role, and that's why transparency is key, you need to look at everything. When I was a master of my lodge, even a trustee, I had lots of questions. Do you have this? Is there proper insurance for this? Or are we doing this? Are we out of bounds here? You want to know, right? This is information. We're not accusing anybody of anything. We typically do a podcast episode, move on to the next, right? Move on to the next. And but we answer all the questions. Sometimes there's follow-ups here and there, but we've had lots of questions just on a little bit of our content that's going out, and probably a lot more questions once you see the episode that drops tomorrow with our boys from the Philaxic Society. It's I can never say that right. I'm an idiot. That's why I make them talk about it. So knowledge is power. Don't be freaked out, and do the right things, folks. Thanks for watching the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast.